Greetings, Honorable Speaker Sir and this August gathering. A worthy member of the proposition clearly highlighted about Mark Zuckerberg's statement. He mentioned about the impact of social media in this current generation. But where does the entire word social media comes in the entire motion which have been presented by the mover itself? We in this moment of time are not talking about social media influencers or just social media. We are talking about the content creators, and content creators are not just limited to social media. The third speaker from the proposition highlighted that 8 to 9-year-old children are there on TikTok. But in this moment, we have to clearly understand the fact that there's an age restriction. And if 8 to 9-year kids are using TikTok, which means they have manipulated the entire algorithm themselves, and that's how they have entered a fake age of theirs when they come to the application. Because they're not allowed for a 9 or 8 years old kid to come to such social media platforms. There are multiple restrictions in multiple countries. So now, is that a mistake of the content creators? Even the fourth speaker from the entire proposition highlighted, quote, disclaimer is not enough, unquote. Well, is the responsibility of the social media creators that they give a discrimination of their content which is either harmful. In that scenario, they are responsible enough because they are giving a disclaimer which might be harmful for few people. But now if those kids or someone is avoiding that disclaimer will clearly highlight that is the irresponsibility of the viewer, not the irresponsibility of the content creator. Greetings, Honorable Speaker Sir. After hearing to the statements of the members of proposition, coming out with multiple articles of the Indian Constitution, multiple facts, multiple figures, it just quite reminds me of a very famous quote that few people use statistics just like a drunken man. Just like a drunken man uses a lamppost more for support than for actual life. Honorable House, in this moment of time, the entire motion revolves on very important and specific reasons. That is the social impact. But when we move into the social impact section, we have to determine into two different sections. One is the content sites and second is the content creators. For example, if in this moment of time, this institute, the NLUJA, if there's a video which have been posted in the official account of NLUJA, which clearly criticizes the Indian government or supports Pakistan in a particular region. Now, the current government have clearly made it very sure that there cannot be any provocations against the Republic of India or anything which harms the national interest. Now, if that official video, derogatory video, comes from the official Instagram page of NLUJA, will the one who have acted or spoke in that video are only responsible and not this content creation site, which is the Instagram account of NLUJA, not responsible enough? We have to clearly understand the very important fact and differentiate between content creation sites and content creators. Now moving ahead, I quite remember of a small story. I was in my 12th standards, and when I was in my 12th standards, there was one friend of mine, and at that moment he was very sad that day. I went to him, I asked him, why are you sad? He just said, Charanjan, yesterday I was watching 18+ content on my cell phone, and suddenly my father came and I got a tight slap. Then I asked him, if you mentioned it was 18+ content, are you 18+? He replied, no. Then I asked him, then how did you were able to watch that 18+ content? He replied that there is a disclaimer which comes before you watch a particular video or something which have an exception that asks for clarification, are you 18+ or not? And he manipulated by mentioning this, yes, he is 18+. Now, there comes a question, is this the fault of the content creator who have created that content which is legal for that particular person to create in multiple countries, or is it the irresponsibility of that particular person who have manipulated by entering a wrong age of his or her just to get attention or just to watch that video? Now this is a question we have to realize. Apart from that, when we move ahead, that we have to very particularly understand that very important word, that is content creators. The entire members of proposition have been highlighted the content creators into social media content creators. But does content creators only come from social media? Do the content creators are only referred as content creators only on YouTube or Instagram? No, because the content creators is a broader term. When we look into the content creators, we can also see someone who is writing an article on web is also a content creator. A teacher who is writing a research paper is also a content creator. Someone who is making a video which the members of proposition only highlighting on social media, that is also a content creator. And the members of proposition have clearly failed in making us understand that what they particularly they mean by the term content creators. Even when we held responsible in this moment of time, the term responsible is that only the content creators who are responsible for each and every statement which have been given. For example, if a harmful video have been highlighted and have been posted in YouTube, now YouTube is responsible enough to remove that particular content because that goes against the community guidelines. Now if that particular person who have raised it have uploaded that video, that person is responsible, but does that person only responsible, not the content creation sites which have allowed that content to go on? Because multiple sections we have seen that there are multiple cases in the Republic of India where there are a lot of issues and it was the content creation sites which were held responsible, not the content creators. At last, coming to my very last statements, the members of proposition who are again and again manipulating the statements and changing their statements again and again, it quite reminds me, if a chameleon would have been present here, then chameleon would have felt insecure about his abilities. As the statements of the members of proposition changes faster than the chameleon even changes his color. Thank you so much, everyone.